Hello, welcome to Outdoors the Williams Way. I'm Connor, and this is a video on how to create custom food plots and scouting for possible food plot locations. So we're on the road. It is Christmas 2017, and I spent some time with the family this morning. Headed to another get-together right now, and spend the night tonight down here at our family's property, and tomorrow, after a little bit of work, we'll be scouting for some possible food plot locations. Now, it's a little bit interesting because it is a pine plantation, and we can't cut any pine trees, and the soil down there is so sandy you can't get much to grow. So it's going to be interesting. We figure if we can grow it down here, that possibly it could help you grow it in your poor soil or your good soil for that matter. So we'd love to start on the ridges. You got good prevailing wind, and the sun get more contact that way, but most of your ridges are going to be so sandy it's not going to be possible to plant because it's the sand hills. And two, every ridge down there pretty much has big pine trees on it. So we got to get creative, and we're thinking maybe some cutovers down there. We can clear off some spots in it. Also, there's a creek bottom that runs through the property. Good, rich, black looking soil mixed with that sandy soil. It's going to be a little bit more wet, but the goal is to tape it off. First, we're going to scout for it. If we find some good spots, tape those off, and hopefully get a dozer or a bobcat in there this winter while it's pretty hard, the ground, and clear those trees off, little saplings and stuff, and briars, and hopefully this fall we'll have us some nice food plots. The goal is not to really have any feeding plots per se, because we couldn't make it big enough to feed the deer. There's some ag fields nearby that they use. So the goal is to plant 3 to 6 kill plots and staging plots during the summer, and early fall it'll count for a staging plot. They'll hit that before they go to the main fields or the oak flats. During the pre-rut, it'll be good for checking scrapes, and we're going to have mulch scrapes and mulch rubs there at each plot, hopefully. And then the rut, it'll serve as bucks can cruise through there checking for does. So that's what we're hoping for. And again, in the late winter, they'll use it as a staging plot again. So we're going to try to figure this out and be in the woods all day tomorrow, Lord willing. And we'll take you along with us as we go. So follow along with us as we search for possible food plot locations and creating custom food plots. All right, so it's day 2, and we are heading through cutover right now, me and my dad. And the idea is here, let me turn this thing around and we'll show you. It's cutover here, and then all of this here is thick but pretty clean. It's got no pines in it, so we can plant all of this here after we bulldoze it. And then we've got this buffer strip road that runs in between that set of woods and that set of woods, and there's no pines in between there. It's an old road bed, so we could take that, make a strip from that cutover to this one, and have all this planted, and put the stand right here. It's on a hill, and we can clean up between these pines. So this is food plot possibility number 1. We're going to continue to walk and see what we have to work with down here, if it's possible. If we can find a bunch of briars and stuff, that's probably a pretty good sign that it's going to be green enough to grow something. Alright, so as you can see, I was up there, and that's where we want to put the box stand possibly. Or we could put it in that tree if we could see that from there, which I don't think we'll be able to. But as you can see, all this was cleared out not long ago. It was clean, and it just grew up really fast. You got all these holly looking trees and all these saplings and briars, and we can push all these. Ground's pretty flat, and it's pretty wore down in here. Some decent activity, and that's another thing we want these plots to be, is we want them to be where the deer already want to be. So you just enhance the spot. We know the deer are moving through here, all the trails, and we've seen activity before, but the idea behind it is right now it's no good to us. We've got plenty of bedding already. We don't need any more. We need more food and something to draw the deer into one spot. All right, so we're walking out. See Dad with me, behind me, and this is sand hills, so it is super sandy. This ridge here behind me is nothing but sand. The only thing that really grows good is broom straw and pine trees. And there's deer tracks in here, and we know they use it. But if we put a plot in here, all this behind me will be plot. There's a ridge that runs up to it that way. It'll enhance that ridge. It'll enhance this ridge. There's a pinch right here we can use, and we can see all down that road. So it's really going to help us, and it's all nothing really big, so we could really do this with a tractor or a little skid steer. So we may come in here with a mulcher and mulch it first, but we'll have to come in and regardless and flatten the soil out, make it a little smoother. All this is pretty, and there's tracks in here. They're using it already, so that should be good. All right, we're at spot number 2, possible food plot location. We've got this little strip here. Old sawmill used to be right in here, and the soil back in here is pretty black, pretty good looking. But we've got exposed area here and exposed area right in here. So what we probably do is plant a food plot screen right across there. There's a little gap right here the deer use to enter the field. Probably leave this as a buffer. But all of this, what do you think? We could push this?
Yeah.
All that little green stuff we could push.
Right to the right of the pine trees.
And I've crawled through there. About 75 yards in is a big oak tree, which would be nice to clear all the way up to the oak tree and back. And this could be about a half-acre plot or more. Okay, this is where the old sawmill used to be, the back of it. And you can see these humps right here from sawdust piles. You can see how grown up it is, but the deer just have it tore up in here. And it's perfect. These green trees you see here, the canopy is like 3 foot and under. So it's like a perfect seclusion for the deer. I mean, it is amazing. Look at this, guys. I remember the day when you couldn't come in here without jumping 5 to 6 deer. You could hear them, which ones were a buck too. You could hear the antlers crashing through the limbs. This is amazing. That plot we showed you is back up that way. This is just unreal. There's a little rub right there, right at the shadow. But all this soil is pretty good, pretty black, sandy soil, so that should be pretty good for what we want. There's another good trail right here. This is pretty. I think we can plant this. I mean, if you look, none of it's really high either. Just needs to be pushed over. So getting ready to go to plot number 3. We just made it back here to the sawmill plot. What we walked was really thick, super thick. But as you can see, there's not a whole lot of pine trees in there, which means we can bulldoze those over. Alright, so we just found us a spot here in the middle of nowhere, pretty much, and we got pretty good entry and exit. It's a ridge that slopes down pretty flat. You see Dad there, he's marking off the oak trees with orange flagging. So my uncle here, we're going around with pink flagging around the borders of it. So just found this shed here, a deadhead shed. It's no good. A little spike chewed all the pieces. Anyway, this is gonna be beautiful. We got a creek that runs through here. Got about 6 oak trees or more. Put some fertilizer on them. We're gonna bulldoze everything out here except the oak trees. May leave a magnolia tree to hang a stand in, because they make wonderful cover. Besides that, this looks great.
A good hunting block. That's right there, Tom. What a nice shot. Pretty good sign right there. Four, 5, 6, a 12-pointer. What do you think about that, sports man?
Oh yeah.
How old do you reckon that's been now? Squirrels have done a number on it.
I'd say that shed's at least 3 years ago, probably. Look at this oak tree behind you.
Nasty.
That's why they're in here, isn't it?
Yep.
I think that's a good start to the plot.
Real good start. What'd you find? Oh wow. Kind of jumped up. We might have to call it the 12-point thing. Wow. 13 is real nasty. Little mess down here. Yeah.
We were looking, we found a rub on that tree.
Big magnolia.
Monstrous tree over here.
Wow.
There's rubs all up and down this ridge. We found that dead spike. We found that shed. Oak trees all in here.
Awesome. I'm gonna get back to flagging. Or a little fillet. I've never seen anything like that. That's awesome.
Okay, so just a short recap of the video here, scouting for possible food plot locations. There's 3 main essentials in growing and holding white-tailed deer, and those are food, cover, and water. Now this property in particular, we've got plenty of cover, and there's also several creeks and several ponds on the property. The one area we do lack in is food, and that's where these food plots will really shine. To start, what are we looking for in a possible food plot location? Number 1, we're looking for some flat ground with some decent soil. Somewhere equipment can get into easily and it won't mar up. It won't be too wet, but it won't be too dry. Something with decent soil. Number 2, a place where the deer are using it naturally. You know, if you run out of food and the deer were using it before naturally, they'll still use it even though the food's gone. So we looked at that. And number 3, a way in and out of the plot that won't spook or alert the deer. So coming to and from, we want to be as covert as possible and not let the deer see us or hear us. We want to slip into the stand and retreat before they even know anything. So those are the 3 things you need to look at when scouting a property for possible food plot locations. So number 1, you need to look at studying aerial and topographical map. Look for field edges, power lines, grown-up fields, or old road beds, wooded flats, or ridges. Really good to clear out and use for food plots. Second, go ahead and put boots on the ground. Scout these food plot locations. Look for places the deer want to be, like we said, and look for an easy entry and exit route that you can get in and get out without the deer ever being alerted, finding out that you're there. And thirdly, flag a perimeter around the area that needs to be cleaned. Flag trees with a different color that you want to keep, such as a big oak tree or a stand tree. Remember to flag trees as high as you can for the equipment operator, that way he can see them better. One of my favorite things to do is get out and explore a property, try to figure out how it works, how the deer use the terrain, see how everything just fits together perfectly the way the Lord made it. And to spend this time with family, scouting for possible food plot locations, it was truly a blessing of the Lord. We hope that this winter or this spring, you'll look at a map, go ahead and pick some spots out, then go scout those areas. Remember to bring some flagging tape with you. Go ahead and flag the perimeter. Remember to flag the trees that you want to leave. And then go ahead and clear that area out. Get it ready for next fall for you and your family and friends to enjoy. Please like and subscribe to this channel. And as always, God bless, and thank you for watching Outdoors the Williams Way.